because a lot of doctors don't give someone the time of day, just like a lot of attorneys do.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Taking time to onboard the team is probably the most challenging part when there's so many other things going on, but it's in that time period of just almost like being there and then waiting and being there and waiting has been a big struggle.
Well, today we've got a special guest, Dr. Patrick Krier with the Movement Lab. Welcome. Krier.
Yeah, Krier.
Excuse me. Dr. Patrick Krier. We can edit that out in post.
Yeah.
With the Movement Lab.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for
having me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome. So you're a chiropractor?
Yep, I'm a chiropractor.
And your practice is called the Movement Lab?
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So the Movement Lab really is a chiropractic and performance business. So it's the Movement Lab Chiropractic and Performance. We really look at basically what activities and goals do people like to do, love to do, and then also what are they not able to do? What do they want to do? How do we bridge that gap using holistic medicine, movement, nutrition, temperature therapy? We kind of just evaluate in the beginning, and then from there make a plan. And then what we like to say is prove the process. We basically want to give them a plan that is full encompassing to what they need based on the evaluation. So that's a little bit about the Movement Lab in general.
Awesome. How long have you been a chiropractor?
1 year and 2 weeks.
Okay.
Kind of crazy. So cool. It's flown by, it seems like, but it's only been 1 year and 2 weeks.
Okay. So tell us about how you started your own practice.
Oh man.
Was that a struggle? Has it been smooth sailing?
Man, so how we started the practice was a struggle. I'll start back in grad school. So in grad school, I owned my own personal training business with my wife as well, which she's also a co-owner with the Movement Lab. So this personal training business, which we knew was going to lead into the chiropractic business, was basically all about learning how can we make simple the complex understanding of physical health. So as we went to seminars, we'd come back, learn more, and apply more into our personal training business. It was just kind of 2 years of trial and error, if you will, which kind of led us into saying we're going to start a chiropractic business when we graduate. So how we did that was how you make a business in general, of course, from a legal standpoint. But then we were going to actually open up in Flowery Branch about 2 months after we moved down here. We had the loan set, what we thought was set. We had the building picked out. We had the whole thing. And all of a sudden, it all fell through. The owner of the building was he's like, we're not going to loan you this money. He's like, you guys are two broke college kids. You guys have $100,000 of debt. It was just so funny. And basically we got off the phone call and, Kelsey starts breaking down and I'm like, it's okay. I'll start talking to people and stuff. So after about a month, we found a chiropractor that was local to the area. And we also found a gym that wanted our services to be integrated into what they're doing. So the chiropractor did nutrition work only, which means what we did was fantastic for him. And then the gym, what we did, the manager of the gym, she's a world-renowned power lifter.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, I can't squat down past 90 without pain shooting from my butt to my knee. She's like, if you can help me, I would absolutely love it. So I was like, okay, this is Brucey's time to shine, So I basically helped her out. She stood up off the table after one session and she could squat down without pain. And she goes, you have to stay here. I was like, good, we have no other place to stay. I'm like, this is fantastic. So we've been there for the last year. And just today, actually, we passed our certification of occupancy. And we now have 4 treatment rooms, 1,300 square feet of a gym space, and then a sauna, cold plunge, temperature therapy room in the back. And we have 2 coaches, 1 chiropractor besides Kelsey and myself. She's also a chiropractor.
And that's your wife, correct?
That's my wife.
Kelsey.
Yep. And that's kind of how we started what we were doing is we started from basically just trial and error, learning all the stuff we were taking at seminars, just applying it over time to basically taking what we do from basically doing it, operating in a chiropractic already existing office in a gym setting. And then we kind of molded it together into where we are now. So we're very excited. We're very much at our infancy of what we're doing, but it's kind of where the new things are going. It's very much holistic and very much being able to make people's activities and health goals practical through those means, if you will.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think the holistic approach, because you can take care of your body, but if you're not fueling it with the correct nutrition, right? Correct me if I'm mistaken, but it's not going to work, right?
No. And that's the whole thing is it's hard to separate all three of those, right? It's hard to separate movement, nutrition, and temperature sides of things because, when you exercise, your body heats up. When you're sleeping, your body actually really much cools down. And and then nutrition ties into that, of course, as well, like with fueling and so on. But you take these things and then you take health goals, you take activities, and you can actually change people's physiology based on those three factors, or two of them or just one of them. And you're able to basically like turn people into what they want to be or what they want to do. Kind of fascinating.
What do you mean by change people's physiology? Explain that to me, please.
Basically, you can look at someone's, it'd have to be a more specific for you maybe. When you look at maybe like a parent of yours, right? When you think of someone in their 70s and 80s, at that time in life, it's really hard to pick something up off the ground like groceries, let's say. So that'd be a hinge pattern, a movement pattern of a hinge or a deadlift, right? Now they not only have to pick it up, but they have to carry it basically from their car to the house. Now we all know people, whether it's our parents, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, that are not able to do that. And what do? They just don't, meaning others have to do it. And when others have to do it, that's not fun. And then they move into assisted living and so on and so forth. Our goal is to say, hey, this is a foundational movement pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the quality of this movement's good. We're going to make sure the capacity of the movement's good. How much do you have to lift? 30 pounds in each hand. That's 60 pounds total. That's awesome. Do you ever carry more on one side than the other? I always carry more in my right than I do my left. Why? Because I have carpal tunnel in my left hand. Let's talk about that. So it kind of just becomes like a complex picture that we try to put together. And then basically the physiology side of things is basically the progressive overload is what we say. You have to start somewhere and progressively overload it. So basically stress plus recovery equals an adaptation. Is the adaptation picking up groceries off the ground, or is it to decrease blood pressure? It just depends on what the scenario is. And you can basically take movement, nutrition, and temperature therapy pillars, plug it in over a period of time, and watch these things basically get better. So it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
It's honestly it's amazing. Every single day I show up, it's just something different that you have to try to figure out the puzzle for, if you will.
Gotcha. Because every client's different and every client has a different problem. So what's the first step when a client comes to you? I assume you discuss with them, do an evaluation. How do they discuss their problems with you?
Absolutely. So it used to be where people can come in and just say like, I want to do a chiropractic eval because my neck hurts, or nutrition. I think that sounds good. So I want to do a nutrition eval. Now we always start with a consultation, meaning like we want to just know what do you like to do? What activities do you want to get back to? What health goals are you doing good with? What health goals do you have? What does the end of your life look like? What do you want that to look like? What's your commitment level? And that's basically what we go over in the consultation, along with getting to know someone and seeing what really matters to them. From there, we recommend, hey, I think you need to get evaluated in everything, or I think you just need maybe one thing. But the consultation we've seen, instead of jumping into specific evaluations first, really hones in on saying, what does someone actually need testing with in order to be able to change and adapt with? Some people just want their neck pain to go away and that's it. And that's totally fine because they have everything else in their life taken care of, or they think is taken care of. They're just like, hey, everything else is taken care of. I just want my neck pain to go away. Chiropractic all day. Let's do it. Some people are like, hey, I want to be able to at least get my neck pain to go away because I think it's really hurting my shoulder when I throw the football with my kids. That's more of a functional movement side of things. So we do chiropractic, functional movement eval, let's say. Some people say, I want to be able to run a marathon under 3 hours. That's a pretty hefty goal. What are you at? 3.5 hours. Okay. Chiropractic, functional movement, fitness eval. So like there's just kind of levels to it, if you will, of what we can do. And that's just a movement standpoint, but we can get into nutrition and so on and stuff too. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating. It just depends on what someone's goal is and where they are, basically. So
cool. Yeah. So you were a personal trainer before a chiropractor.
Yes.
Did you play sports growing up? What got you into sort of the fitness and the body and the movement industry?
So I was a football player back in high school. I took it super seriously, but the camera can't see this right now, but I'm a whole 5'6". So I was either going to have to be running a 4.5 40, or I was going to have to be really strong. I picked really strong, and that was the wrong combination. I should have been fast. So I played football. I played middle linebacker and running back. I was an all-state middle linebacker. I was an all-region running back. I was pretty good at what I did. But honestly, senior year came around, and I just was like, nope, I don't want to play football anymore. I was burnt out. So I went to undergrad, and that's where I got into strength and conditioning. And my head strength conditioning coach there was like, Patrick, like, this is so much better being on this side of the bar and thinking smarter than working harder, because everyone else on that side of the bar is beating themselves up. And I didn't realize what he was talking about until I saw someone get knocked out from trying to do a power clean. They like pushed the bar forward, or tried to. There's so much weight on the bar that they pushed themselves backwards and like hit their head in the bar and knocked themselves out. And I was like, it was crazy. But that's kind of like throughout time what's got me interested in this route of things. But the chiropractic thing started back when I was in 5th grade. I dislocated my left knee playing football, and I got rushed to the ER. They took an x-ray, MRI, the whole thing. And they basically, the doctor came in the room and said, your sports career is over, you're done, so on and so forth. Well, I was like, devastated. 2 months of kind of just bed resting the thing. And after about 2 months, my dad was like, I'm sick of it. So he took me to a chiropractor that he shared an office with. My dad does hearing aids, like sells hearing aids and tests hearing. The chiropractor, he basically does a little bit of what I do, just probably like a little bit older version of what I do. So he basically looked at me, and after giving me a physical exam, and he goes, all right, dude, he's like, this is what it is. It's going to be hard, but if you get through it, you're going to be able to do it and get back on the field. So sure enough, after like 6 months, I was back on the field, no pain, and back to a starting position where I wanted to be in 6th grade. It's like a hero story kind of thing. But I mean, that's how I got into chiropractic though. I was just like, I'm going to be a chiropractor ever since 6th grade, which is kind of funny. But that's how I got into it. And then my path though, from high school to undergrad, then from undergrad to grad school, was kind of more the strength conditioning route of things. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you met that chiropractor when you were pretty young, 6th grade.
Yep.
And that experience stuck with you all throughout that educational journey.
I would say I was more ignorant, because I thought it'd be not as hard as what it was. Being a chiropractor, going through grad school is hard. Yeah, I mean, undergrad, like nowadays, I don't know. I don't think it's that hard anymore. But grad school sucked.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I just knew though by that time when I got to grad school, I was so passionate about human physiology, human movement, looking at like, how can we change these things? And there's also people that were basically the best in the world at saying, let's change human physiology doing these things. Like, I don't know if you know Andrew Huberman or Andy Galpin or Peter Attia. Peter Attia just did a good 60 minutes, by the way. It was fantastic. But these guys are basically looking at the highest forms of human health and how can we test it when we're, in our teens, and how can that predict what we're doing later in life? Not by looking at like, doing just red light therapy alone and so on, but living a healthy lifestyle and being capable in life. So I started hearing that chatter when I was an undergrad, and that kind of fueled me for when I got to grad school to be like, oh, I want to do these courses and these routes of things, and kind of drove me to do more of what we're doing now, which is kind of cool.
Great.
Yeah.
As a newer business owner,
yeah,
what are the biggest challenges that you've faced since starting your own business?
For sure. I would say, if anything, communicating what we do. And that's why starting with consultations is the most important thing. We have to make sure that we are making a relationship with somebody. It's probably similar to what you guys do as well. Mm-hmm. In fact, talking to people that work with you, that's the case. So for me, it's been communicating, what do we do and how can it help you? Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're giving a service that lasts and matters. So that's, I think, the big thing, which gets into marketing and sales. Marketing is basically, getting people's attention and saying, this is what we do. And then that call to action. Sales is telling them, this is what you should expect, obviously, from what you are spending your money on. And that's kind of been the biggest, I think, struggle for us, because some mentors of ours said, don't spend a dime on marketing,
right?
Digital marketing, right? Go out and just meet people. Other people have been like, no, you need to, go out and meet people, yes, but you need to do digital marketing. And then the sales side of things is like, how do you like basically tell someone that raises their hand, this is why you need to sign up to get this result? I think that's been the hardest thing for us, not even just this last year. It's been probably the 3 years we've been in practice in general with personal training as well too. So that's probably been the hardest.
Have you figured out how to overcome that and educate the consumer? Because it sounds like that's what it is, right? You have to educate them.
Yeah.
Have you figured out what way you're going to do that?
In some ways, yes. And in other ways, no. Because like it's hard with being a small business and having like a budget. But we found traditional marketing, word of mouth, is always better for us at the moment. As we continue to grow, we know that the digital presence has to be there. So some ways, yes, and that, but being so new into business, it's like some ways no, because we're just kind of waiting for metrics and like the understanding behind the objectives, but then also like, what are we willing to give up from a personal standpoint of things and making that relationship to say, oh, we have someone to sign up just to get someone there, if you will, too. So we've been kind of struggling with our marketing agencies of like, or the marketing agency we work with of like, you know, what's a good in between what works with their system and what works with who we are as well. Instead of just getting people to sign up, how do we know that someone's right for us when they sign up and so on? So it's been a struggle still, I think, which is fascinating. But I found it that a lot of practices or, you know, people like us in our industry struggle with these things too. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say about it.
Yeah, I think it's a constant struggle, no matter what industry you're in, right?
Exactly.
Marketing, sales, all of that is, I mean, it's key to building your business. Without the clients coming in, right, you can't build your business.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So have you invested in any digital marketing to this point? And if so, what does that look like?
Yeah, so digital marketing, we've been doing Google ads. And then we've also been doing just a general social media marketing. We have a social media marketing manager, actually. She does a fantastic job by coming around our office and being able to like take videos, photos, knowing the trends, because I don't really know a lot of trends. In fact, I've been trying to stay away from social media myself. So it's like she knows all the trends of like what music to play.
The TikTok dances and
yeah. So she kind of shows up and she's like, all right, y'all ready to have fun? We're like, let's do it. So we basically just do all these dances or all these different things, and it's fun. It's great. But we've been doing that, which has actually been really good for awareness in the public in general. People trust us because they have that sense of, I've seen that. I've seen them on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I think we're on TikTok as well. And we're able to basically get out there and be known from just a awareness and trust standpoint of things. And then the other side of things is Google, right? Making sure when someone says neck pain chiropractor, that we pop up and someone would feel that they can actually trust us to help them with that. So those are the two big things we've been going after. Since we're recording this now during the Thanksgiving time period, our social media marketers have been like, do not go after meta marketing. Just take a break on that just for a little bit until Black Friday and the holidays pass. So we've kind of like been pushed down on doing those things.
Let me stop you there. Is that just because other companies are spending a lot of money trying to get, you know, people to shop on Black Friday and things like that? Is that the reasoning behind it?
I think it is. And I don't know exactly because my wife is like the chief marketing officer technically, but she is just said, hey, we've been advised not to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's because more Black Friday. But the only other thing—
It's interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. The only other thing we've been doing is basically mailing or emailing basically, and having like email lists of basically not only our patients, but then other people around the area that we have our practice in as well. That's been actually picking up some traction as well. But we've been kind of doing this only for 2 months, and it kind of takes 3 months to really get started. So with our grand opening coming up in January of 2026, we want to make sure that we have a good amount of people from different places just knowing that we're there. It doesn't have to be exactly signing up right then, but just knowing that we're there and we're able to be trusted for the things that we can be trusted with. So
awesome. What do you think is one thing that you wish people knew before they came to you?
That's a good question. I would say that we would give them an honest answer for the questions that they have, because a lot of doctors don't give someone the time of day, just like a lot of attorneys don't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
I mean, I give my clients all the time in the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like I know that you do, and that's why we can have this conversation. But I'm saying that a lot of doctors, you know, it's always what does the blood results say? What does the physical exam say? That means this all the time, no exceptions. We can give others an honest answer, but we can also change variables based on what works for them. Time money and energy is what people really care about, right? Do you have a time, do you have a timeline? I like to say, by when do you want this accomplished? That's how I make my plans mostly, is by when. Now, from there, the time can be basically manipulated to maybe fit finances or energy. Some people just don't have the energy to be able to do what we're asking them to do as well, because we are an active care company. Doing movement, nutrition, and temperature therapy, that sounds like a lot of different things. You don't have to do all three of them, but let's just say, take movement, for example. If you come and see the chiropractor once a week, but you're also working with one of our coaches doing some functional rehabilitation, that's a lot of work. And some people don't want to do that and are not willing to put that in more than once a week. So that means, hey, we just have to extend this plan a little bit longer from a time standpoint of things. Maybe it's finances. Okay, well, let's extend it a little bit longer. Let's say those things don't matter. And let's say we have to get it done by the end of this month. Okay, well, let's compress it down. Let's make it happen, different things like that. But be realistic about things. So I would really say that we give them an honest answer, and we can change variables based on what they're looking for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had any legal struggles or issues with getting your business started, your LLC or your S Corp or anything like that?
Not that I know of. Mostly because my wife is the brains behind that operation. And I'm more of going out and talking to people about things. I think she's been actually really good at that side of things. But I will say that the funny thing is having a good CPA is very important. We've had a good CPA from the beginning, but if we didn't have certain people in place, like a financial advisor, CPA, I'm trying to think of who else would be good on our team, blanket at the moment. But if we didn't have certain people, I think it'd be a lot harder as well. I mean, the expertise goes way beyond paying extra in the beginning than to say that you can do it and bootstrap it on your own. But knowing who to have on your team is important, just as having them on the team is important, I'd say. But definitely the financial advisor and CPA were huge. Yeah.
Awesome. You've mentioned your wife, Kelsey, a few times.
Yeah.
She's your business partner.
Yep.
She's the chief marketing officer for the business as well. How's that been as far as starting a business with your spouse? You can't turn it off. Maybe when you go home, that's up to you guys. How has that been a struggle? Have you had any issues there starting a business with your spouse?
Yeah, that's a good question. So lately, these last 3 months, because of opening up our practice and having our son who's 3 months old, it's been a struggle because we're talking sun up to sundown, we're going.
Yeah.
But normally speaking, it's really not that bad. Especially, we have a saying that the more people, the more problems. And that's not always the case because we have a team now of 4 other people besides Kelsey and I. I love our team. Our team is amazing. It reminds me of your team from what we've talked about off camera here. And I think it's amazing how if you have the right team, it does not create more problems. It's just taking time to onboard the team is probably the most challenging part when there's so many other things going on, but it's totally worth it. In fact, Kelsey just pulled off a really big thing for me. My birthday's on Thanksgiving this year.
Oh.
So cool. She basically got our best friends from Wisconsin to come down with their 2 girls. And she surprised me Thursday evening, sorry. And we had basically CEUs planned Friday and Saturday. I didn't know what CEUs we were doing and different things like that. But Kelsey showed up to the office Thursday night and goes, "Hey, Patrick, are you all done with patients?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" She goes, "Hey, there's someone out in the lobby that wants to see you." So I walk out in the lobby and it's my best buddy just sitting there in the chair, hat down. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on here?" So we basically went up to Blue Ridge for the weekend.
Oh, cool.
And she just did that though because of how hard we've been working and so on. So there's things like that happen where it's nobody else gets you like your spouse, and being in business is a blessing to have that as well. But I will say that it challenges us to know, everything's open to challenge you for, whether that's, just you drop a spoon or Kelsey always complains about me eating off the spoon wrong when I'm having chili or something. I'm like, "It's hot. What can I do?" But there's different things like that. The normal things would irritate one another, but I will tell you what, I would never want it a different way. And she would say the same thing. I know she would. But we are to the point where we can start to stabilize a little bit more with bringing on a team and how aggressively we brought on the team, that it's continued to get better, especially after the weekend. She just took me away. I can't even complain about that. That was awesome.
That's amazing. Oh,
yeah.
You're a lucky man. You mentioned building a team.
Yes.
And having the right people in the right places, I think, is crucial to building your business. What's been your philosophy finding talent, attracting talent, and getting people in the right positions?
Man, I would say principally personality, attitude, and circumstance. That's what I've told our team is I hire off of personality. How personable are you to fit the role you need to fit? Our office manager, I call her the quarterback because she's just like, you there, you there, you there. I think you might know someone on your team that might be the same. And then there's also the coaches who have to be really relational. They have to understand, but they also have to say, hey, like we have to get this done. Then there has to be the chiropractor that has to be kind of in between of the office manager and the coach of saying, hey, this is the plan. I'm confident in it. Let's do it. So there has to be different personalities there. Then there's attitude, which is kind of the back end of things that probably the public wouldn't see or clients would see, is what is your attitude like on a day-to-day basis? How can you interact with others around you? And what is your natural resting personality, I guess you can say, outside of who you are in front of people? That makes a big difference, I'd say. And then circumstance. I think, for example, one of our coaches, he's 62 years old. He's post-retirement for 2 years. He's a personal trainer part-time up at the Beast Sports Center in Gainesville. And I found him because he was one of my patients. And he basically told me, he's like, I would love to do some work like this, 25 hours a week. It just brings me so much joy. I'm looking for someone for 25 hours a week anyway. And I want someone to be able to help someone 45 plus as well. Would you like to do that? His perfect training demographic, my perfect people that we're trying to go after demographic. And he's like, let's go. That's how you do it there. And then, so circumstance is huge. So personality, attitude, circumstance, I would say.
Cool. So it sounds like you've got that down pretty good.
I think so, which is amazing.
What sort of struggles have you faced so far in your business?
Such a good question. I would really say the marketing and sales standpoint has been huge, but really in reality, it's been even getting into our space in the first place. So I told you the story in the beginning when we were supposed to open in Flowery Branch. Yeah. Well, the owner of that office didn't want us in there, and that's fine. But we tried to basically be in the office we are now in, where we just got everything passed and we're good to go, right? You're supposed to be in there 3 months ago. And that time period of just almost like being there and then waiting and being there and waiting has been a big struggle. But I will say with the right team, because the team has been with us for about 4.5 months now, with the right team, they kind of basically know your heart. They know where you're going. They know the vision. And they're like, hey, let's take a step back. It's okay. We got you. So they're a good place to fall, if you will. But I would say like the mismanagement of expectations on time of when we're going to get to the spot, which a lot of people might not know as much. Maybe you have had some of those things in your practice as well, the timing of things. You kind of like want to be there, yesterday. And it's like, wait 3 months. It's such a hard thing. So that's probably been the hardest thing for us, just with our unique situation of where we are with timing of things. Yeah,
no, I understand that. And I appreciate that honesty. I think being able to be flexible and to be able to pivot when you need to in business, especially today, things are changing so rapidly with artificial intelligence and the way marketing is working. We have no idea what the future is going to look like. So I think just being flexible, what we build today, we may have to pivot from, next year.
Absolutely.
Have you seen any, changes in your industry with artificial intelligence, or not so much because you're more hands-on, more, working with the human body?
That's a great question. So AI, I think, is a fantastic tool, but I don't think it will ever replace what we do as clinicians, meaning it can tell you all the test metrics of things very well. You can put a camera on us and it can watch you move, and it's probably going to be more specific on degrees for range of motion, probably more specific on how can you control your body weight and space from your right foot to your left, let's say, just different metric things. But what it can never replace, I think, is going to be the amount of intentionality behind what we do with that information. And I think that's the issue with anything in medicine. So to answer your question, AI is a very important tool that we use to create systems and to do different things in our practice. But that relational aspect will not be changed ever, I don't think. And medicine in general, just think of, doesn't matter if it's chiropractic, physical therapy, nutritionist, medical doctor, they overemphasize the evaluation and the test. They underemphasize the process of what you should go through of making a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be. AI, I think, is going to make the evaluation process and the metrics worse because you can very quickly type something in to say, I have multiple sclerosis. Well, what do you do with that? Like that's the most important thing. Everyone wants to know what they have instead of what you want to do with it. If we used AI more as a tool to get you from A to B to C to your goal of D, that would be awesome. I know very few people that do that. I don't know if you've heard of people too, that they just kind of type things in to understand something comparatively to make it a process throughout life, in our industry specifically. Maybe it's even in legal advice. I'd be kind of fascinated to hear that from you. But yeah, I think it's fascinating how it's not as much, they can't take away the process of things. They can't take away how to actually train somebody through pain to performance. So that's what's fascinating behind AI with us is I'm very confident it will never touch our industry from that standpoint of things.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the legal industry, right? Because, people can put things into ChatGPT, ask a legal question, and it'll spit out an answer. A lot of the time, it's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
ChatGPT will hallucinate case law. You may have seen the headlines where lawyers have gotten disbarred for submitting briefs with hallucinated AI ChatGPT cases that don't exist, and not checking them. But, as attorneys do that, I can only imagine what consumers who think they can save some money without having to hire an attorney are using it for. So that's kind of scary for our industry.
Yeah, it's fascinating when it comes into play with the true experts in a field. Was it the 10,000 hour rule to be an expert?
Yeah.
I don't exactly think that to be true from 10,000 formal hours from 9 to 5. I really think the experts are the ones who have that passion, right? It's the hedgehog principle. Have you ever heard of the hedgehog principle?
I don't believe so.
It's what are you the most passionate about? What drives what's your biggest economic driver? And what can you be the best in the world in? And I think if those three things can happen from being an attorney in this specific way, being a chiropractor in this specific way, I think that, like you're going to be the best and there's no one better than you at that. And that's where the 10,000 hour rule, I probably put, I don't even know, maybe 7,000 hours in the 10,000 in the whole grand scheme of things into chiropractic, health, and holistic wellness and so on. And I'm going to continue to learn more as I continue to go and grow. But I think it's fascinating because if you find those three things and you really hone in on them, I think that there's going to be no AI, no one better than you at what you do because you're the best in the world at it. You're passionate about it and it drives your economic driver. It makes your livelihood go around as well. So, yeah.
Plus there's things that you and I can do, build relationships with clients and referral sources and things like that a robot, not yet,
oh, gosh.
can't do.
If they can change like facial expressions and so on, and which it's funny because AI kind of flirts with us as well. They're like, that's a great question. Like I wish I would have asked that question. You're like, yeah,
it makes me feel so smart.
Yeah, and then you're like, shoot, I totally fell for that. So like they can definitely flaunt you up a little bit, make you feel good, but yeah, they can't do the whole body language thing, which is what a majority of our conversation is body language anyway. So it's very fascinating at the end of the day what it can and can't do. But I think people try to put AI as like a new god or something. It's like, I don't think it is.
Yeah. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Who's your ideal client? Who is somebody that needs to reach out to you in the Movement Lab?
Man. So for me, I would say it's anybody, middle-aged male who was able to do things and cannot and is hopeful, but just doesn't know where to go because he's gone places and tried different things. No one else could help him.
I feel like you're describing me right now.
Oh, well, let's set up a consultation. So, but that's my ideal. I love working with older males that can really impart some wisdom and knowledge into my life. I absolutely just love it. Really, it's anyone who wants to be capable in life. There's different types of sayings that people have, but my favorite one is be capable because being dangerous will always kind of leave you crippled, I think, in some ways. And I've done that before too, trust me. So
fair enough.
Yeah, right. So I really want people, like my ideal client is someone who wants to be capable in life, who wants to build a buffer that's not just a flaunting thing, but it's true. They can actually do these things and it's not fluff behind it. And we'll show them how to do it and educate them. But for me, it's the middle-aged male or the even adult or the senior male, if you will, as well. My oldest client I've worked with is 82 years old. And he's went from not being able to, squat or lift anything up off the ground to be able to golf again. So
Nice.
it's been fantastic seeing what people can do through movement, nutrition, and holistic means. So
I think that's a great approach, because I've gotten to the point in life where I'm like, okay, I'm never going to be a bodybuilder or some, sculpted Greek god, right? But I just want to be able to pick up my grandkids when I'm older, be able to climb the stairs and not have these aches and pains, or, see the decline that my grandparents went through, sort of thing. Just want to have that mobility, the strength, the functional things.
yeah,
Like you said, not, necessarily squatting 300 pounds, but just being able to move around and be confident and strong and not fall over when I'm older.
it's honestly one of the most common answers we hear is it's fear driven, right? And that's not a bad thing, but I don't want to be like someone that they know. I can say the same thing. It's fear driven, even though for me, it's more like, I want to run a 50K this February. I want to do these different things. But in reality, when you get back to it, it's like, why do you want to do these things? It's because we've seen when people don't do these things, what happens. And I love asking people the question, when you look at that family member, that friend, that loved one that had these issues, what sticks out to you about how they live their life and how you should live your life? And they can easily tell me, oh, they smoked for their whole life. They didn't get up off the couch unless they worked. They, whatever it may be. They love that fried chicken and they could not stop, one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I want to tell them, hey, it's really not that difficult to know the right lifestyle choices besides more negative lifestyle choices. It's hard to do them. It's hard to break that cycle. It's hard to know when to do what sometimes. And our goal is just to guide people there. So,
Okay. So what's a good first step to get off the couch? Somebody who, maybe their prime is behind them, but they need to get back in shape. What's the first step? What's the first thing they need to do? What's a tip?
Realizing that you can. Someone's mindset, the mindset always will precede your physical health. The way in which you adapt is by looking at the principles of physiology. You stimulate something, or you add stress to something, you recover from that, you will always adapt. It's so simple when you look at something like a deadlift. It's like if I were to have a 50-pound kettlebell on the ground, and I would say, let's pick this up. And let's say you struggle to pick it up. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that every morning, and we're not do 1 rep. We're going to do 2 reps. Take as much time you need in between, and I'll come back in a week. I come back in a week, and you're like, actually, this is pretty easy. I could do like 10 reps. Great. I'll give you a 70-pound kettlebell. It's the same principle as that, but getting up off the couch is the same way as that kettlebell. It just looks different. Being able to stop eating fried chicken, only eating it 1 day a week, right? So you stop eating
But Chick-fil-A's open 6 days a week, Patrick.
That's the hard part. And they're a Christian company. It's like, come on, guys. So for me, it's basically just taking that one step in the right way, knowing that you cannot trick physiology. You cannot go around it. It does not lie, which is pretty cool. But if you take the step-by-step approach, you can get there. Can use someone like me, that's great. But basically, what you need to do of where you need to start is the hard part, getting off the couch or picking up a kettlebell, whatever it may be. But being consistent is the most important part. It's something that's good for you. It's so funny how too many people think about, well, what is good for me? Mm-hmm. It's really not that challenging. Drink water, eat whole foods,
get some sunlight,
actually put your feet on the soil, on dirt, on grass, whatever it may be. Ground yourself a little bit. It's so fascinating. Have good relationships, get 8 hours of sleep, 7 minimum, right? But it's just one of those things where it's really not that challenging. It's very understandable when you break it down, but it's my goal to help people not feel crazy and make them have a step-by-step approach to make them feel that they can actually do it for a lifetime, because they can. Everybody can. If you're 82 years old, like that one client of mine, or if you're 11 years old, like another client of mine, you're able to do it as long as you're able to understand that if you stress something and recover, you can adapt, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to work with you specifically, how can they find you?
They can look us up at the Movement Lab, Chiropractic and Performance. We are in Brazelton now, which is super super awesome. We also have a spot
Exploding community.
exploding. It seems like,
Yeah.
I don't know the demographics exactly on Brazelton, but I will say that I know that they're building another subdivision full of tons and tons of houses over there as well, which is going to be like another Chateau Lawn or something like that. So crazy, going to be a crazy community over there. But yeah, they can basically reach out to the Movement Lab, and then from there call, email, and we'll be able to reach out and set up a time to have a consultation.
Awesome. And the grand opening is
It's gonna be
when again?
January, I believe it's 10th, January 10th. Yes.
Put that on my calendar.
Awesome.
January 10th, the Movement Lab. Dr. Patrick Krier,
Yes.
thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Had a lot
having
of fun.
me. Yeah. Thank you for having
Any last minute tips, anything, any messages you want to give out to the world?
me. No, I mean, this is great. Honestly, I love the atmosphere. I love that you guys hired a great crew to come out and do this, and I'm excited to hopefully be on again.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Patrick.
Absolutely. Thank you too.